Back again. Make City Make Spence. We're doing our show planning before we hit record, and Sean's making me laugh. Um, so, anyways, like I said, back we've got a special show tonight because we are going to be looking at the women's season. Because Sean, it seems like we just wrapped things up from last year. Lo and behold, though, women's season back at it again, starting this Saturday against Ann Arbor. In Ann Arbor, I think it's at Pioneer High School this time. So it seemed, the good
Oh,
thing about
correct.
Ann Arbor is, what was that?
I didn't know it was at the high school this time.
Yeah, I think
There's
it's at
there's like
Pioneer.
there's like the two places they play.
Yeah, I know they've been spread out, a few different places over the past 3 or 4 years, but yeah, high school again. So we're gonna be getting to the women's stuff. Um, in just a little bit, we're gonna sulk on the men's road defeat to Hartford from this past weekend. But first and foremost, Sean, proprietor of Words About Shapes, how you doing tonight, man?
Uh, I'm well. Today is the release date of the latest Dungeon Crawler Carl book. So, it's a big day in my house. Sarah is actually in Traverse City right now, at a signing event for Matt Denneman, who's the author. Um, of the series, and yeah, that's
I
so
take it
we're
you
it's quiet in my house. I'm here. I'm home alone
I
with me
take
and
it
the
you had to
cats.
stay back and work. That's probably why you couldn't go, right?
Yes, exactly. The pizza mines had a place for me, and I had to fill that place. So
Well,
uh,
it's understandable. At least one of you get to enjoy it then. Um, but yeah, well, I guess we can
how
go
are
ahead.
you, Adam?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, just chugging along here.
Yeah.
Excited to, live through that city defeat from over the weekend. It's
Ugh,
it's really a roller coaster type of season. Um,
aren't they all?
yeah, it's after the that huge high that we were on, beating Lou City at home 2-1, things come crashing back down again as City goes on the road and
Yeah.
gets beat by the Hartford Athletic 2-1 in Hartford. We benefited off of an own goal, the 84th minute, and 5 minutes later, um, Hartford went back up again in the 89th minute, and that's all
The
she
same
wrote for
same
them.
dude.
Same dude, yeah, he got 2 goals in that game.
Yeah.
Redeemed himself in the 89th minute after yeah, after
So
getting City on the board, and
Adrian
yeah, that's it.
Adrian
That's it.
Dizpay is the name of the guy that got scored on both ends
Hmm.
within 5 minutes. Um, I will say that his on the back of his jersey it says his last name, which is spelled Diz, and
Hmm.
the Pe, and so um, throughout the match, Sarah and I were cracking up because we were imagining that his name was pronounced Diz P, and then we were further imagining that as like something said by a toddler who's holding a fat diaper. Diz P? So um, I feel like in some ways, like our mockery were the flapping of the butterfly wings that powered Adrian Dispay to to his phenomenal redemption arc in this game.
I love the
Um,
throw. I love the throw out there to the butterfly effect, which ultimately ended up in City's doom on
right.
Saturday.
I mean, so uh, you know, this match was like every match is its own thing, and I think one of the things that kind of is lost or will be lost if we don't mention it is that it was absolutely pissing down
Yes.
like
Rain.
buckets when this match kicked off, and continued to do so for quite a while at the beginning of the match, and then the rest, the entire match was contested in like squally, occasional rain. The field was very greasy because of
Hmm.
this. Um, it was messy. And as we have established previously, I am also a person who enjoys Liverpool Football Club, and so that season is ending now as City's is kind of starting, and the story of Liverpool's season has been a team that can manage quality possession, but doesn't often turn that into goals. Like they'll have their times of ascendancy they don't always capitalize on, and that has cost them a great deal this season. And I feel like in some ways this felt like I was kind of watching that happen, because there were long stretches in this match where City appeared to be in you know fairly complete control of the run of play and control of the ball. Hartford, were creating half looks, but inconsistently, and didn't seem to have an obvious, clear route to goal. Um, but what happens is what always happens you know, when you don't capitalize on that sort of the time and ascendancy, eventually the chaos is going to get you, right? You
Yep.
gotta, and I feel like both of their goals were sort of just chaos maxing um, moments, where it's stabbed into the area, and it's a big mess, and it's half cleared. Everyone's kind of, you get into that kind of scrum mode where there's
Hmm.
no thoughts or spacing or marking, or it's just like see ball, clear ball. Every person is working on a very fundamental and elemental level. Um, and it didn't go great for us in that situation. Uh,
Yeah, that
and
game winner came, what, did that came just outside the six, if I remember correctly, for Hartford? Because it
yeah,
came off a corner. It seems like they were getting ready to clear it out, but then what is it? Is it Disby? We'll keep on calling him that. And yeah,
is
just
he?
hit it on a header from what, if I remember correctly, just
Yeah,
outside the
yeah,
six.
yeah. And the own goal, like it wasn't an own goal. Like he was forced to cover that pass, and if he doesn't make a play on that ball, then Darren's going to score,
Hmm.
right? So like I don't view the own goal wasn't like an act of God kind of own goal. You know what I mean? It
Sure.
wasn't like, oh wow, he put us back in it somehow. Like we were pressing them, we were having at them, you know, pretty seriously, trying to get a point out of this match, right? And it did feel like once we got that goal that we were going to at least see the match out for that, and having them kind of come down and win a schlocky corner and then get a schlocky goal off it was like, of course, that's the way this is going
Hmm.
to go down. Um, and you know, if you're to look at this as a supporter and be upset with it, I mean, I can totally understand. This was not a great performance, really, by anybody. I don't think anyone was wreathed in glory as they left the field. It's nice to see Ben get half an hour again. Um,
Seems like he's back to full steam, just about.
it seems like, yeah, he's really trying to, they're trying to get minutes in his legs. Like, okay, cool. At the same time, we really are. It's we've gone from it's concerning that other people besides Darren aren't scoring to, okay, no, really. Some of you all motherfuckers need to score some goals, okay? Like somebody who's not Darren Smith needs to put the ball in the net. Like, and
And
then we need to
that's
see that's the thing that's going to happen. And, you know, sadly, right now, um, Maxi is struggling to have an impact on matches, um, in that more advanced position. He's performing well defensively. And, you know, starting him and Connor, uh, meant that we had a really pretty solid, like, pressing block there. But, you know, Ates struggled to get shots in this match. Connor didn't get shots. Maxi, ah, like who's gonna score some goals here, guys? Right now it's Darren Smith and pray for rain, and then we got the rain, and that didn't help. So,
and
like,
the yeah, and the
mm,
thing is too, Sean, right now, you look at their last four matches, league matches that is. I'm not gonna count the Chicago Fire um game since obviously that's Open Cup, but they have one, two, three, four, five goals over their past four league games. And there's a little disclaimer on the own goal from yesterday, but two of those still are own goals. Um, and we mentioned Darren Smith too. Darren Smith hasn't scored in a match since Jacksonville, which was four league matches ago at this point right now. Um, and City right now is still without a win on the road, which you look at their road schedule too, and it's not like they are running the gauntlet or anything like that with
yeah,
these teams
um,
that they faced on the road. They've faced Hartford, they faced a Pittsburgh team who I don't want to say isn't good, but they're certainly not a championship caliber team right now like they were, um, at the end of the season last year. And then you combine that with Indy 11, and then managing a draw on the road against Rhode Island a few weeks ago again. Um, what I'm trying to comprehend here what the biggest problem for them right now is on the road. I mean, why? Because we've seen this almost in reverse, Sean, in past seasons where they've struggled to win games at Keyworth
uh
and did very well on the road, and it's just the complete
right,
opposite this year.
yeah. I don't know. In this particular match, um, I felt like we didn't get enough out of the flanks.
Hmm.
Like we were, and I feel like Hartford kind of twigged to the fact that we were really trying to advance the ball through the middle. And so they flooded the middle
Hmm.
with bodies. You know, they had like Angelina playing not as a forward, but kind of dropping back into midfield and running around in the middle in the center of midfield to break up play, along with a triangle of regular midfielders in there. The guy who got the goal, Cariaga. They had I think Coffee and another defensive midfielder had a woman's name. I can't Beverly was a defensive midfielder. So they had they had a wedge of bodies in through the middle, and we were trying to work through the middle. And those times that we went to Ates for an outlet, he was kind of MIA. If I'm honest, like I just didn't like. The thing is, he's out there giving effort, but we haven't seen him skin a guy that often. Um, And that's what you're really hoping for out of a winger, right? Is that you really beat a guy, not that you kind of, you know, you turn in field and use your superior pace to maybe kind of get an angle at goal, but it turns out that the other guy knows you're going to do that, so he just cuts that angle down, and you wind up, running infield 20 yards with the ball and then hoping someone's showing so you can back out of that move.
Sure.
Like it's another situation where it's starting to feel like my Liverpool life and my Detroit City life. Or like, oh my God, is this Cody Gakpo or is this Ates Juve? Oh my God, you're gonna put it on your right foot and drive hard in field, right? Looking for that back corner. Like, dude, everyone, like the whole stadium knows you're gonna do that. You gotta do something else a couple times. Like, um, and as you can tell, I'm sort of losing patience with Ate's struggles because it's becoming less and less tenable for us to just sort of wait for everybody else to get their form together. Um, and you can see how these players should kind of interlock and create chances. And it feels to me like in some ways they've almost regressed. Um, um, but that's like 2 weeks ago, we beat Louisville,
Hmm.
and really controlled the ball. And here again, we controlled the ball a lot. Having a tempo setting midfielder like Kobe
Who looked
means
very good
that,
this game? Who still looked very
right.
good this game, I thought.
Yeah. Yes. I thought so too. Although I feel like, you know, uh, I'm glazing the dude constantly. So sometimes I'm a little gun shy to continue giving him the full Duncan glaze. Um, because yeah, because I mean he's our best player and he looked pretty freaking great. But we lost to a team I consider to be not very good. So it's a little like don't really want to get over my skis in praise. But yeah, I feel like, this is a match that we got kind of outcompeted for stretches. I think I think this group does react well to the crowd at Keyworth, you hope that they haven't settled into a groove where they're kind of dependent on getting that juice from the crowd to get into it. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I got to tell you, when that match started, the first 10 minutes of that match, I'm thinking to myself, I'd be saying, fuck this. Like, because it just looked like fucking miserable, just so goddamn miserable. Um, it's just pouring, and it looks like it's cold. The players just kind of have that, like, everybody has that kind of scrunched up look on their face, like, oh man, fuck this, God. Yeah, it did not look fun. Now when the rain relented, it was a little better, but man, yeah, I have a hard time blaming anyone for being like, this is not ideal. I would rather do something else right now. Um, yeah, I mean, putting 3 shots on goal against Hartford um, isn't good enough.
Hmm.
It really just wasn't offensively. It was a classic, sterile performance. One thing I'm noticing is that we committed 15 fouls. City committed 15 fouls. 6 of them were by Ates Juf, who did get yellow carded eventually, but 6. The dude had 6 fouls. Wow.
And um, it was looking like a second that, like, because Hartford got earlier on in that game, Hartford was doing a lot of fouling,
Oh
and it
man.
was it was turning into one of those games too because they got 2 yellow cards in the first half, um, and then yeah, they got 2 yellow cards in the first half, and it
Yeah.
really almost seemed like it was going to be one of those games. You're like, okay, they're fouling early. They've got 2 yellow cards already on them. Obviously, when you get those yellow cards, it kind of changes the way you guys, you can end up playing the game. Maybe you can be a little less
Right.
you're forced in some ways being less aggressive. Okay, so maybe that's going to push into City's favor. Um, but yeah, then you see Huntas going out there and getting what you said, 6 fouls. And yeah, he did
Right.
end up getting a yellow card in the later on in the second half, 75th minute. But things kind of got turned on their on on its end as the game went on, and City ended up finishing with 3 yellow cards. Those 2 yellow
Yeah.
cards that Hartford got all came in the first half, and that was it. Tommy Silva ended up getting put in the book in the 38th minute just before halftime, and then
Yeah.
Jope in 63rd, and then Diouf in the 75th. So um, things definitely, I don't want to say they unraveled for City, but it was certainly one of those games where and we kind of talked about it too last week, Sean, how Hartford was never a really good place for City to go in and play. It's always been tough for them for some
Yeah.
reason. And lo and behold, it's what it proved to be this past Saturday as well.
Yeah. I like I'm looking back at this, trying to reconstruct the, the opening minutes in my head because I remember that Ates was kind of like he was winning that battle against their right midfielder. Um, and that's the first yellow card was like that dude fouling Ates
Mhm.
and on a kind of a breakout. But it seemed like he got irritated with that dude and like, had a Haruki style vendetta happening. And that's where, where he kind of went off the rails a little bit. But like, and the other 2 yellow cards for City, I mean, Tommy Silva, if I remember, was just like a professional foul
Was that
after
that
like,
tough challenge over kind of like by the Hartford touch line? I think that's what it was.
was it? My memory, like I know, I remember Lai was he was just it was a professional foul after like a corner or something. Like they
Hmm.
were threatening to break out, and he just like just grabbed the guy. Like, okay, no, it's a bad
Yeah.
situation. Just took one. Tommy, yeah, I don't remember. I do remember him having a big collision, like, but look shoulder to shoulder. I don't know if he got yellow carded for that. Maybe
Yeah, maybe it was
like
just a foul. You know what? I
I
think
don't
that
know.
was just a foul because Hartford's head coach was really animated, kind of putting on a show, um, seemingly trying to draw the foul or
All right.
inspire a
Well,
yellow card.
they had just gotten their second yellow. So
Yeah.
now he's building you've given us 2 yellows and none to them case,
Yeah.
like okay, um, well maybe you're fouling more. Is that is that a thing?
There's a
How's that feel? I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, but at the end of the day, yeah, they grew into the match and we grew out of it.
Hmm. That's a good way
You,
of
you
putting
know,
it. That's an excellent way of putting it.
when we got the goal, I wasn't feeling like, now let's get the winner. It was like, okay, now let's get out of here with everybody make sure you got your shit packed and ready to roll because we want to get out of here before the heist is discovered. And then we gave up another goal and
And then the heist was discovered.
yeah. No, yeah. And then yeah, exactly. Damn it.
Um, the good thing is that what the city goal did come off of a corner,
I
the
mean,
own goal.
I guess that's a good, yeah.
I
Yeah, it did.
mean,
And
um,
you know,
it's second.
it's
I
the
mean, a
thing.
second straight game too, where you have a goal come off a corner, which is, you know,
I just don't
I
feel
like
like
seeing
this
that.
is not,
I like being
yeah,
dangerous
I'm
off
sorry. Go
those
ahead.
off. No, I was just gonna say I like being somewhat dangerous off of those
You
off
know,
corners, off set pieces, whatever.
you got to be, you want to be good at every phase of the game and you want to be, you don't want to just be a null
Yeah.
set on set pieces. But I really hate the way the game is evolving toward like sterile possession, punctuated by the set pieces. What we're really here for, we got to throw in deep. We could hark it into the box and create a bunch of chaos, and maybe the ball bounce off someone's ass and go in. And like that being like the way the game is increasingly won and lost is really mortifying to me. And potentially, I think a death knell to the game of football, like fully, if followed out to a further extreme. Um, but I don't think we're going to follow out to a further extreme. I think we'll kind of go back the other way. But this match was one of those matches. Like it's all just decided by, you know, chaos and set pieces and, you know, I don't know.
One more piece of good news, because maybe we end
I
this
don't like it, man.
on
Sorry,
a
good. Yeah.
yeah, maybe we could end this on a high note. Um, Callum Montgomery did play in this game after
Yes.
leaving the Lou City game late, just before the 90th, with what was believed to have been a perhaps concussion protocol.
Well, I mean, I think
Um,
that it was the sixth sub, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
So that means that it had to have been like they had to have
Yeah.
been saying, "Oh, well, we're worried about a head injury," because otherwise they'd just
Yeah.
be like, "Well, roll him off over there, and
Play
we'll
with
finish the
10.
match."
Yeah.
Right.
Um, so that was good to see him back in. Because obviously, like we talked about last week too,
Hmm.
City is still thin at center back beyond Darren. Or I'm sorry, not Darren, Devin, Callum, and Rio Hupgund. That's all you have right now at center back.
Yeah,
So it was
it really is.
that was extremely good news. Good to see Callum Montgomery back out there playing this past Saturday. So hopefully that's not something that maybe we need to worry about moving forward as far as his health goes. It
Yeah,
seems like he's
yeah.
okay, and
Hopefully, we close the book on that. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. We're not going to really look into the USL Cup game coming up this week against Forward Madison. I'm assuming that's a game that they are going to win. Detroit City. That's a game they should win going up against
yeah.
a um a USL League
The
One game. So and by what is it?
the
Transitive property.
JoJo's Seafood Shack USL Cup brought to you by JoJo's Seafood Shack.
So and transitive property, Sean. Um, Flint beat Forward Madison, and we beat Flint. So therefore, we should beat Forward Madison.
I mean, yes. I think this is. It looks like Forward Madison are not a very good side.
That's my
So
analysis right there for that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's A is greater than B is greater than C. Like, is A greater than C? Like, well, you'd think
There you
so. Um, but of course, yeah, it's variable on the day. So,
We're not.
um,
We're. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
what was I saying? Forward Madison. Yeah, it's a way. It's out of sight, out of mind on that USL Cup stuff right now. Um, let's talk
Yeah, we're
about the
saving this
other
half of the
team.
show. Yeah, we're saving this half of the show for the women making their return after a long off season, which really didn't feel that long. Probably because of the indoor season.
It's just the
That
indoor season. Yeah.
yeah, that helps us get through it. But after a long outdoor off season, we got the indoor season. City again did very well, and we are seeing which is bringing us now to the W League season. New era of sorts. We talked about it last week, Sean. Danny Evans being named the new head coach, taking over from David Dwahey, who is obviously still with the organization as one of the OG owners.
Yes.
I'm sure still having his, putting pen to paper as far as this, putting his mark on this roster still. But the city women's side, W League side, gets going this Saturday on the road against longtime rival Ann Arbor, in Ann Arbor at Pioneer. So yeah,
Yeah.
the rosters drop, Sean. For the very most part, I'm assuming that there's probably going to be, maybe some additional players that, haven't been listed so far.
Right,
Um,
right.
but a lot of, I mean, I guess the story of this roster, Sean, and something that we were talking about before we hit the record button was kind of that continuity. Things, not a lot of things changing.
Yes,
Even with the
yes.
new head coach, things look very much the same from last year heading into this year.
The roster tells the true story of
Sure.
Danny taking over, which is that Danny is less taking over than just sort of being formally recognized.
Yep.
Because she was always there, and Dave always was. It took great pains to credit Danny for all the good things, and I'm sure that if we could talk to him right now, he would continue doing that.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, this is an absolutely this is a continuity roster. These are the same women, basically most of the same names that turned out last year, and many of them the year before. A lot of familiar faces. If you've just joined us this winter and you're like you've been to a couple matches for the indoor side, and you're like, okay, well, am I going to see any of them? Yes, you absolutely are. Kirsten Williams was the MASLW Keeper of the Year, um, just recently named, I think, as Keeper of the Year. She is going to compete for for the gloves well, although she got the number 1 shirt, so she might be the starting keeper, full stop. Um, and would continue an interesting tradition of having a fully, you know, like a full grown mid-20s professional kind of as our keeper. Um, Following up, several years with Gabby uh, filling that role. But the other thing you see is that we've got a lot that you're seeing all the kind of if you'll excuse the term, hot shit recruits are on there. So Lily Jekyll is back, Ava Landstra is back. You've got both Natalie and Nicole Grimaldo uh, back on the looking for minutes. One of Lily and Ava, they've added Kanamora and Donna, who's I'm not sure how you pronounce her name honestly, but she's a teammate of Lily and Ava's from the Nationals. Um,
Which could be a
who
huge
is a
addition.
which could like another defensive. She's a defensive player, and more talent. If people know Callie Schwarzenberger, is the people who've been around for a long time. Her dad was a long time match day cameraman, like video cameraman for City. He's a pro at that and kind of did it. You know, Provided much better camera work than City would have gotten if they hadn't had a friend in the business. Basically, that's what her dad has given to the club, and now Callie's here as part of the club. So she's an 18-year-old. I think she just graduated high school. But like so many of the kind of stalwarts from before, Drew Martin, Katie Murphy, of course, Kayla Addison, Elise Barron. Although I think she's more a player coach than fully a player anymore. Amanda Britton, Hannah Crum, of course, is a captain. I think they rolled that out, like she's announced as a captain. And I mean, that I think is uh, if you think about how Hannah Crum plays football, I think that and the fact that she's Danny's first captain, that those two are have similar souls about the game. So what you're going to get is like very hardworking and clever football out of this group. And this has got a lot of talent. Now, there's a thing in role playing that has um, that kind of came out of there was a bunch of role-playing theory that happened in the late 90s all through the 2000s, that created a bunch of different kinds of games that were, D&D likes but played with different sorts of systems. And one of the theories that came out of a lot of discussion was something called play to find out, which is the idea that you should really be co-creating in a role-playing game. It shouldn't be like the dungeon master has a story that he is putting down in front of you. It should be like there is you know, a an undefined quanta of story that you're all defining by observing over time. And um, that you literally play to find out what someone would do. You put people into a situation, and so the idea is that somebody who's running a game, you know you shouldn't be driving the action, um, as much as letting the players define what happens in their version of the world, and you kind of coming to a compromise for that. And this team, I think, is a play to find out team that we are this is a very intense and very local division this year. You're not going out of state. Um, we play Macomb 3 times. We play Ann Arbor 3 times.
Hmm.
We play everybody else twice. Um, and so it's going to be very internecine. You're going to get to know um, we're going to get to know Ann Arbor really well. We're going to get to know Macomb really well. The other thing about the schedule is we have our last 3 at home, which usually we tend to have kind of a front-loaded home schedule. I think because a lot of times we haven't had weekend availabilities, and for some reason we've got more availabilities this year, and so our schedule is heavily weighted on the front half toward away matches. But our last 3 are at home. So if we can, just keep ourselves in the running, going into the last 3 matches, we should have an ability to kind of build up a head of steam heading into the playoffs. And this, you know, Danny is an ambitious woman, and she has to be telling them that there's no reason we can't win the whole fucking thing.
Yep.
Like that's got to be the goal from the get. Like, let's get into playoffs. Let's go beat Minnesota Aurora. Let's go win this fucking thing.
Yep.
And I am very excited to see them try to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Me
I'm,
too.
I'm,
I
I'm
don't.
just I'm just kind of tingling, like reading that the amount of carryover, the amount of quality in this roster. Um, I'm very excited to see what we're going to see.
Couple of things from me, Sean. The USL, because I know I'm looking at two different rosters here. I'm looking at the USLW League website, and I'm also looking at the cities list of players on their own website. And there's a couple. I mean, there's players that aren't listed on the W League website that City lists on their own website. A couple
Yeah, I
of
looked at that
familiar.
last night, and then it wouldn't load for me tonight. I'm like, god damn it. So I just went with the W League one.
Well, I mean,
So,
there's a couple of other familiar faces as well. Bella Sabo makes her return.
oh yeah, Bella, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I read the last night, I'm reading the women's roster and going, oh, well, this is Dave's roster. Like
Yeah.
it's the same roster. Like, oh, okay, well, maybe Danny was doing the recruiting the whole time. I don't know, or maybe but no, what I think you're seeing is that anyone who's been here before, like this is the good news about Danny Evans. Like, if you're like, I don't know, first timer, blah blah blah, like everyone knows what all of these women know what Danny, they've been here before, and this roster is almost entirely people who've been here before. It, they know what Danny's about,
And I think that's
and
incredibly important
all
too
of them,
if you're looking for
right?
success.
All of them were like, "Fuck yes, Danny's in charge. Fuck yes, let's go, let's get it going." Now, that is as good a sign as you can have. Like, that is as good a sign as you can have. because these are like, there is a wide variety of motivations and potentials within this roster, right? The difference between what, you know, Lily Jankel is looking for out of an experience for Detroit City and, Kayla Addison or Hannah Crum, those are very different situations, right? But at the same time, clearly all of those players feel pretty fulfilled with what Danny has given them and want to keep going. And
And you know what too?
I just love it.
As as far as Lily goes, like I hope she plays in a ton of games for City this upcoming season. I'm not
I
holding
mean,
my
I would like,
breath on
yeah,
that. Um,
right.
but
It's
at the same time though,
anytime
I
she
am
can turn out, it's great.
yes, and I'm so glad. I would much rather have her be listed on City's roster and not Union Macomb's roster. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like like if she never plays a game for them this year, it still is worth it because she's not over with Union Macomb.
Well,
So,
I think Union Macomb, I think they had we've seen a few different teams do this now. Like they had the Flint experience last year,
hmm
where the difference being that Flint like really came like they got knocked out by the eventual champions. That first year, like they were doing it. They got beat by Indy 11 and Indy 11 won. Um, so but Union Macomb were like they came in last year kind of big dog in it, right? We're gonna have all these
hmm
nationals players and all that, and you know the ennui and entropy of a summer season really got caught in that vortex pretty hard. And by the time we were going to that match, that away match that was supposed to be like a big deal, and they were so clearly dispirited by that point, just like
let's just get this shit over with.
fine, yeah, you're up, great, you know. Yeah, it just I think they will have a bunch of talent, um, but I think buy-in is important. Kalamazoo is a sleeper again. Like
hmm
they've got a mammoth roster.
Always a tough team too. Always a
Always
tough
tough.
team.
We've had a hard time with them. They were the reason we didn't make the playoffs last year. Um, to me, like if we get better results against Kalamazoo, we could have snuck through there. Um, we did not. So
Um, I'm going to credit you still with Lily and players like Ava returning because I remember last year during one of these shows, I remember your call out to them was, something along the lines of,
yeah,
okay, what would you rather do? Would
players have
you
a lot of
rather,
power. Yeah,
yeah, would you
yeah.
rather go and actually play in a football atmosphere, or would you rather just go and play in front of your parents? And maybe that rang true for them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like if you are a player, it's the I think you're seeing it in the kind of turnaround of the WNBA
hmm
in the public perception, right? WNBA has been like a badass raw dog league for forever, right?
Yep.
But uh, its recognition in the public eye has only come recently, and now the money's finally coming, right?
hmm
Um, and it feels like okay, so if you're a talented young athlete in this woman in this environment, you're looking for those scenarios where you can get around a WNBA style atmosphere, the kind
hmm
of um or a European soccer style atmosphere, which are very
hmm
similar.
Yeah.
um, like committed committed support from commoners.
hmm
um, this is not the rich people game, and like that is. I hope that that's something that draws talent. As long as as long as we're going concern, trying to draw talent.
I think there's something to be said too about that, Sean. So, and I'm going to further add on to your point. I think here is that you kind of compare this to to the NBA as well, and in college basketball, and in the sense that um, there are some players that opt to skip college and go to, and play like in the G League or something like that. Because I know there's a couple of teams in the G League that are, strictly developmental teams for players who chose to forego college and go straight to basically, you know, the NBA. But there's something to be said though too about the players who stay behind and go through college and play at those high end programs, whether that be a Duke or a Michigan or a Purdue, Kansas, so on and so forth. Because they're not just getting the skill, the basketball coaching aspect of their game, which they'll get with those with those specific G League teams. I mean, I'm sure they have very very good coaches there who are going to teach
Right.
them the same fundamentals and everything like that that
Right.
they would learn from their college head coach. But there's that atmosphere aspect that
Yeah.
the experience you gain playing in big games in front of big crowds that you may not necessarily get playing in a in a slightly bigger high school gymnasium, maybe junior college gymnasium in, up in Maine somewhere,
Right.
against the Mad Ants or something like that in the G League, as you would, playing in some late February bubble game, or, the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Right.
There is absolutely something to be said for that. And like you're saying too, if you're a player like Lily or Ava or any of these other younger players who definitely have, the chance to go on and play in these bigger games, I think that experience, playing in front of a Keyworth type crowd is kind of valuable. And if you're going to
Yeah.
capitalize on something like that, as a club and and as an organization like Detroit City FC to get some of these bigger name amateur players, this is where you're going to do it. It's not going to happen so much more, in my opinion, at the professional level with the men because a lot of those guys have played in front of that type of crowd before. Those guys are
Right.
looking to make a living. They're looking for, contracts and money in a sense. And, and that's what it should be for them. That's what they're doing for a living. Um, but I think it's a completely different ball game when you are looking at an amateur side like the W League squad that we have right now.
Yeah. I think that the other right. I think that I'm getting tangled up in my thoughts because I started wool gathering about like how this team could transition to being like a kind of a budget professional side whose focus is on kind of being a preparatory school slash transfer hub for
Yeah.
Americans who want to get want to play overseas,
Yeah.
because that is going to be a huge a huge growth market that I think that really honestly the USL Super League, part of its intention is to capture that, is to become a place where we can do some player arbitrage and make some money on the player market that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Understanding the United States is putting out um, the top level talent that we're putting out is on a level with the other top football countries in women's football.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and where we have a huge advantage, like we get the same number of elite players that Spain does, I would say, or England. Um, where we have a huge advantage over all of those, every other women's nation, is that we get a mammoth pool of really good players, and an even bigger pool of steady pro level talents. Like we just have a lot more women athletes than non-Title IX countries have had. And now, obviously, those advantages will get worn down over time,
Sure.
especially. especially as our, as and if our rules for our society grow more and more regressive and anti-woman.
Hmm.
Um, but for right now, you'd have to say that like this is that's the shift to me that will be the next thing where if City wants to go to a Super League side, then you shift from trying to be the coolest place to also being a place where you can like look how many like kind of solid pros have come through this. Look and um there is a large local pool, let's say local/regional pool that we could tap into um, to put out a presentable side. Now that we've seen the Super League and what the level is, like it's like oh we could put out a side that can compete there.
And you know
And
what,
I'm sure
too?
if you're Danny Evans, you're watching that, and you're going, okay,
Yeah.
I think we could do that.
And
It's just down to the money. It's so much money. It's
I
so much
know.
money. And
I
it,
just,
it will probably be a loser. So, and we just don't have the money right now.
I
Like it's one
just,
of those things where like if Sean Mann could like make it happen, he would love to just make it happen just to shut everybody the fuck up.
I know. I
But
want him to I want him to just make it happen so we can go and sign Lily Jekyll to a contract and we just tell the
yeah,
Nationals at that point to fuck off. She's not playing for you guys again. She's gonna play in every single W League game
yeah,
for us, and she's gonna score, 30 goals this season. Um,
yeah. And then we sell her to like the London Lionesses for like, $200,000. Um,
yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
playing a lot of like basically the only reason I fire up the newest football manager is to play the women's game because it's so much worse than
Oh, is
the
it?
26 is just worse than 24. So like I've gone back to football manager 24. I've got a couple of saves on there that I just kind of keep going with. Um, but then I have a Chicago Stars save um, in the stars are good in this universe, like very good. Um, so
I know that's your
I'm
team,
sure I'm sure
man.
everyone's riveted to hear about my football manager saves. Well,
If they could,
there's no USL Super League. Like the teams exist, so you can go in and pick the players off of them, which I do religiously. Um, but they're not a league in the game, so you can't like I can't do Fort Lauderdale. I can't bring Detroit City into the Super League. And I mean, I suppose I could, but I'd have to
are
invent the whole league and the editor, and ain't nobody got time for that, man.
are the Chicago Stars still the Red Stars in that game? In the one you're playing right now?
Yeah, I did change that. They are the
Okay,
Chicago
good.
Red Star.
Good.
Yeah, I went in the editor and just changed the name of the team in the main database so that they are the Red Stars.
We don't reckon the only stars we recognize are the Red Stars. It's so
I mean, just
dumb.
like, I guess, what a surprise. A billionaire is a right wing with a thin skin. Who knew? Um,
McCarthyism is still alive and well in women's professional football.
yeah, yeah, that's
Oh
great.
man. What a couple of other quick things. Because I know it seems we're kind of, getting down to the end of it here.
I agree. Yeah, I think we're
Fatima is back too, as well. Um, she is listed on the roster. I know she was listed on the roster last year too, and I don't know if she played or not. Um,
don't
last year she may have gotten in
remember.
like she may have gotten in for like a half or something, but I she definitely didn't play a bunch of big minutes or anything like that for the outdoor team last year. And she's
Right.
she's got a chippiness to her game too. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, definitely a chippiness to her game. Loved watching Fatima play in for indoor. It'd be fun to see her get some time though on the outdoor team. And no, but given how this roster kind of rotates and everything like that, I'm sure there may be that good
Right.
chance that she finds the pitch at some point. Another interesting addition Sean. Sydney Osgood, who is actually the daughter of
Chris Osgood?
Chris Osgood. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. She is
Uh,
I believe Detroit Mercy. That's where she plays her college ball at. But yeah, she's a defender. Um, yeah, daughter of a my personal
okay.
opinion, Red Wings legend,
I'm
Chris Osgood. So there may be a chance
yeah.
that Chris Osgood is going to be hanging around Keyworth this upcoming season. Actually lives kind of close to me, kind of down the street from me too. Um,
So what you're saying is there's a non-zero chance that you and Chris Osgood are about to become boys. Is that what you're saying? Is that where this is going? I'm
I
I'm just
love I
playing, man.
no I love Chris Osgood. I mean, man,
He's
90s
a
Red Wings for me. Yeah, I love Chris Osgood. Definitely one of my
yeah.
favorite goaltenders of all time. But yeah, he's around Plymouth. I mean, it's funny though because he lives in like a really big, nice house, and I live in my little bungalow. You know, probably about 5 or 6 blocks over from him. Um, but that's kind of how my
Wild.
neighborhood is. That's kind of how my neighborhood is. Like you have like these really small, like 9,000 square foot homes, and then like two doors down, you'll have like, like this massive, house built on a much too small plot of land in downtown Plymouth.
Oh,
So,
look, by the way, Sydney Osgood update. It looks like maybe she's transferred to Wayne State.
oh, she's transferring to Wayne State, who is
It looks like it.
getting are they getting a Division One? Are they Division? No, they're not Division One. They're getting a soccer team this year.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think this is
they
the
have a
first year that they're having
okay,
a
so okay. So she's on the inaugural team then.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah. I just kind of drilled through this like, wow, okay. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we will yeah, maybe we'll see Chris Osgood this year at Keyworth Stadium. Um but anyways, let's go ahead. You know what? I'm assuming we're both gonna pick City to beat Forward Madison this coming Saturday, right, Sean?
Yes. Oh
Okay.
yes.
Um Transitive property for me, like I already talked about. They beat Flint, so they're already destined to beat Forward Madison. Much more important though, women's side, Detroit City, Ann Arbor. Who do you have,
Yes.
Sean?
Um, I think it's 2-0 City.
2-0 City. Okay.
I think it's a close match. Uh, I'm interested to see. Um, I don't like. I'm struggling to remember how Kirsten Williams looks in the outdoor game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm very interested to see that because I think that if she's good, like we could be really really good. Um, so yeah, I'm interested to see that.
I'm gonna go. This is kind of. I hope I don't regret this, just because I know that. Uh, I know things are a little tough on the road, even though I think city support will travel well. That's why it's kind of cool that they're playing Ann Arbor 3 times and then Union Macomb 3 times. Um,
Right. Yep. Yeah,
because
it's the really close ones.
yep,
Like,
they're really close ones. So, even that, even though they're on the road, I think they're still going to get plenty of traveling support for them. I'm going to go 3-1 City in this one.
okay,
Um,
awesome.
I may regret it. It may be closer to that, but we'll wait and see. So, I'll go 3-1 City in this one as well. Um,
Okay.
or as well as for a win. So, but yeah, anything else tonight, Sean? To
I am
close out.
uh I don't think so. I really hope because I'm anticipating that the forward Madison match is going to be fairly rotated. And I just
I
really
think so,
hope
yeah.
we don't I really hope we don't come out there and stink it up.
It should be
Uh
heavily rotated, Sean, because they have a midweek match against
e-
Miami
exactly.
the
Exactly.
following that following Wednesday. So,
Um It's funny. I think that the other thing that like that this as we were going through this season, it's like maybe it's just like the East is not very good. Um,
Yeah.
the Eastern Conference, like as our matches come up, and like if it's an Eastern Conference foe, a lot of times you're like, yeah, it's not gonna be bad.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, I just hope that I hope that I'm worried that a lot of what happens in football that's positive is a shared delusion, and I
Yeah.
think I'm worried that the shared delusion is being dispelled, and that we're going to have see a return of the angry man who breaks things and teams and spirits, and I'm really hoping not. So
And I'm hoping for a better result this year on the road in Ann Arbor as opposed to last season on the road in Ann Arbor. Um,
yeah,
because I wasn't here for that one last year. I was in Florida
yeah, I
and
remember.
I remember checking the score. I'm like, oh, okay, we're ahead. And then I checked the score later on, expecting to see, like, I don't know, like a 4-0 City win. Like, what the
Right.
fuck, man? They ended up losing. How the hell did that happen? Um, but yeah, I'm anticipating though a better result this year on the road against Ann Arbor. So
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
all right.
Sorry.
But yeah, I guess that'll do it tonight for this edition of Make City Make Spence. Um, Sean, I'm assuming we'll squeeze one in there next week. Um, to kind of
Yeah,
recap that women's match and
we should be able to get one in there.
awesome. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Believe there's going to be a recording tomorrow night for Tunnel Talk Channel 451. So stay tuned for that as well this upcoming week
Sweet.
or later on this week. But yeah, so for Sean, I am Adam saying have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this episode of Make City Make Spence. To see not only this one, but prior Make City Make Spence episodes, go to detroit.themajorsports.com where you can check out all of our catalog and all things going on with not only Detroit City FC centric content, but any Majors Detroit content in general. Additionally, you can find us on YouTube at The Majors TV. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you already haven't yet. And you can also find us on wherever you check social media stuff out. We are on Twitter and Instagram at TMSNX Detroit, Blue Sky at TMSNX Detroit, bsky.social, and The Majors Detroit on Facebook. Additionally, wherever you check out your podcast, be sure to not only like and subscribe, but leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way in helping out all of our efforts here at The Majors Detroit. Thanks again, and catch you next time.